Well, energy issues are at the top of the agenda this year, but I don't know if climate agendas or if climate issues are really can be said to be at the top of the agenda. It's the concern of a lot of people, but I don't know that a lot of people really vote on that as an issue. And the line tends to be blurred. I mean, George Bush's whole strategy on the environment was blur, blur, blur. When he first ran in 2000, he was talking about saving our forests and all this stuff. And he did give us the Healthy Forests Act, so now everything's great. McCain seems to be doing the same thing, where he's saying that he comes across as this Republican who's at least less crazy than the rest of them about environmental issues, but really he supports all the same tired let's try to drill our way out of this problem solutions. So I don't know that and I think the media is really letting him get away with that because they just haven't delved into that issue.
So if you got to write the energy policy / climate policy, what would be the top pieces that we need to address?
Well, I think we need to look very seriously at megawatts, at energy efficiency, at increasing the efficiency of the transmission grid, at getting solar rooftops, at getting promoting more buildings where they're doing cogeneration and combined heat and power, where we're getting where diversity in an energy portfolio isn't just, oh well, we've got coal and oil and natural gas, but it's like, yes, we have wind and we have solar, and these beneficial renewables.
So the Republicans are pushing on this drill message, and it seems like Democrats in Congress are getting beat up on it. What should be the message to counter that from Democrats in Congress and the Netroots?
Well, I think for one thing that the oil companies already have leases to acres and acres of land that they're not using. And what they're asking for with lifting the federal ban on drilling isn't going to open very much more up, but what it is going to do is allow the oil companies to put those acres that they'll newly have access to on their books as a positive balance. So it's really just, like most of the rest of our energy policy, a license for the energy companies to print money. And they're already not developing the acres that they have under lease. So maybe the Democrats could just start telling the truth about what the oil companies are doing, which is that they're already drilling at capacity, the refineries are putting out as much as they can, and the problem is that global demand is rising so fast that no one can reasonably supply it, that the oil markets, the fossil fuel markets all over the world, they're so tight that even tiny little fluctuations in supply just throw everyone into a panic.
So are climate and energy issues and environmental issues in general something that the Netroots is paying enough attention to?
I think a lot of people are nervous to talk about it because they feel, oh well, I'm not an expert. I haven't memorized Al Gore's entire presentation, and so I think people are worried that if they, talk about it, and it's a complicated issue to some extent. I think people are worried that they just don't know enough to say anything. And they feel like, oh, well, we'll let the people whose job it is to talk about that, we'll let them talk about it. And so it does kind of segregate the issue. And I think the important thing is for those of us who do talk about climate and who do care about this issue to, just make it as much as we can as accessible to as broad a range of the public and of writers, both in the Netroots and in the media as possible.